Welcome back to part 3 of our interview with AMA Pro Daytona Sportbike racer Melissa Paris. So far, we've learned about Melissa's unlikely entry into motorcycle racing and her struggles to be competitive. Now we're going to dive into Melissa's personal life and her relationship with her husband, AMA Superbike champ, Josh Hayes.
Being married to a successful pro motorcycle racer has probably an equal number of pros and cons. You know, the pros are that I have someone who understands me. He knows what I'm going through to some degree. You know, when people are telling you you're crazy to go race a motorcycle with a broken leg, you know, I have my husband in my corner who understands that if you told me you were gonna cut off my leg, but I was gonna get that #1 plate, it was probably something I was gonna go do, you know, and he supported me, and he did everything he could to help me be successful in that situation. There's nothing, I mean, I don't think any racer in our paddock's wife would support me the way Josh supported some of the decisions I've made. So I'm super lucky in that respect. But the other side of it is that we have two very different career paths. You know, he jumped on the scene and was phenomenal from the start, and he's had a lot of great support from the start. And he's never really been the one that had to go scramble to try to find money to go racing. And you know, the con to that is that jealousy is a really ugly thing, especially when it's pointed at your husband. And it's the truth. I mean, this year we encountered it when I was having such a miserable season, and he's having the best season of his life. So it's like you're leaving the racetrack, and this, you know, Josh is like, yeah, like I'm the champ, and I'm in tears. And it's like he doesn't want to celebrate for fear of making me feel bad, and I don't want to cry for myself because I don't want to bring him down from his high. So it gets complicated, you know, in some ways, but the hardest part of it is what people assume. People assume that your husband, you know, is a factory Yamaha rider, so Yamaha must give you bikes and they must give you everything. And oh, Josh makes lots of money. He's rolling in the money, and he's probably bankrolling your whole race program. And these are things that just aren't true. You know, the fact is that I do get support. And I'd be kidding myself to say that being married to Josh doesn't help open doors. If nothing else, I know who to talk to. I know what number to call and who to ask. But by no means does Josh bankroll my race efforts. You know, we have the same responsibilities as anyone else, and we'd be stupid to bankrupt ourselves so that I can chase this dream. You know, Josh and I had a really frank discussion when I decided to go AMA racing, where he's like, if you want to do this, you have to do it just like everybody else. And I respect him for that, because, you know, at the end of the day, if I want an extra set of tires, I don't have him, like, you know, frowning at me for it. It's my decision to make with my money. And I think the only thing that separates me from a lot of the other privateers is that I know what we're missing because I see other people getting it. No, I mean, it's true. I mean, I'm super lucky. I mean, let's be honest, I don't have to have a regular 9-to-5 job to pay the mortgage, so I'm super thankful for that. You know, my husband provides for me. That's huge. Like, a lot of people don't have that. You know, a lot of ways I compare myself to some of the kids who are coming up. You know, they get to live with their parents still. They don't have to pay rent, you know. So, you know, dad's doing what he can to help them, but can't, you know, pay for everything. So I think it's in some ways kind of a similar situation. Like, I don't have to worry about, you know, the basics. Like, you know, my husband keeps food on the table, so I'll be eternally grateful for that. Josh and I don't talk about our riding very much. I mean, anyone who's married knows how hard it is to teach their spouse how to do something. We fought it for a long time, and there are a lot of tears. I mean, people back in 06 and 07 might have really thought our relationship wasn't going to survive if they saw us at the racetrack. I remember at Las Vegas, for example, him and I walking the track together. And when I came in, when it was done, someone asked me, is everything okay? Because they could see us in every corner gesturing wildly, because we just use such a different language when we talk about things, and we ride motorcycles so differently. Josh has always ridden production bikes. I came up riding more Grand Prix bikes, so we look for a lot of different things, and let's be honest, it comes a lot more naturally to him. Some of the things I'm struggling with are things he doesn't even think about. So there are times where he'll help me, you know, especially if I have a specific question. Hey Josh, turn 7, you know, where's your apex at? If it's something like that, he could be helpful. But it's not like people think I have like this living coach. I can count the number of times we've ridden on a racetrack together on one hand. It just never seems to work out that way. And another thing which I'm constantly reminding him is anyone could be my riding coach, but he's the only one that can be my husband, and that's really what I need out of him. So rather than maybe telling me what the line is or how to set up my motorcycle, if anything, he's my shoulder to cry on, or my emotional support. It's hard for me to say what my goals for the next 5 years are, because I feel like I'm a little bit behind what my last 5 years goal was. These last couple of years have been a real struggle. Things are starting to come around right now, which is so exciting for me. Like, I've really got this, like, the wind's back in my sails, so I'm pretty excited about that. My immediate goal right now is to continue to go faster. I want to show up at each racetrack and go faster than I've gone there before, because I've kind of been a little stagnant the last 2 years, which is probably the most frustrating thing in the world. I just want to move up. To me, I've never been the one that says, like, I want to be the first girl to do this, or I want to be the fastest girl here. Like, it's never been about that. I just want to go as fast as I can. I want to beat as many people as I can. And I want to make sure that when I decide that I'm done racing, that I know I put it all out on the table. And I know I'm never that person that's looking back saying, well, if I only tried a little harder, because it just seems like the saddest story ever. So we're at Auto Club Speedway today with Track Tactics. I'm a rider coach. It's really like the first time I've done it like this formally. Brock, the owner, approached me at New Orleans. He'd heard that I was struggling to find money to continue racing. He's like, let me help you out. Let me hire you to be a rider coach. And it was like one of those things where just timing was everything. And we're not far from where I live during the summer. So we're here, and I'm working with some level 1 and level 2 students, and it's cool. Like, honestly, it's pretty fun. Like, because these are people that are like just getting into the sport, and it's like a chance for me to hopefully be able to show them something that I've learned along the way. And if nothing else, it's humbling, because it reminds me how lucky I am to have had the experiences I've had. Like, because these people are just as excited about riding motorcycles as I was when I did my first track day. So, and it's cool to see people like experiencing that. Aside from racing, this is something I love. I don't think when racing ends that the love of riding motorcycles goes away. So, for sure, like, I mean, if there's someone that I could help, I have to help them, because there's been 100,000 people that have helped me along the way. So, I mean, you have to give that back. I think the best advice I could give to anyone who, whether it's racing motorcycles or being a doctor or anything that's hard to do, is like, you just can't give up. Because there are so many times where I was like on the cusp of being like, this just isn't happening. I mean, from the day I first threw a leg over a motorcycle, until a couple weeks ago, it was like, there are a lot of times where I was like, all the signs are telling me that this isn't gonna happen. But then just when you're about to give up, it seems like something comes through and things start to click. And if you want something bad enough, the only thing that will keep you from getting to it is yourself. So you just gotta keep plugging away. You can always check out my Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/MelissaParis13. And then I have links to my website, melissaparis.com. I'm on Twitter, MellyGirl13. I'm a social media addict, so definitely very, very involved in all of those things. And if people want to get involved, I've got t-shirts for sale and stickers for sale and all sorts of things. And I mean, the fans and the people that follow racing, I think, are a big part of why I haven't given up this far. I mean, if I could tell you the emails and the letters I get, like, honestly, I read them all, and it's, Josh will tell you, more than one have made me cry. So I definitely like appreciate like all the people that come out and watch and cheer us on. And it definitely keeps us going, pushing forward.